Hey guys, we're doing math, page 269 and 270. Before we begin, I wanted to let you know what things on what pages we're doing so that you can know. So go ahead and circle the ones that I tell you that we're going to be doing in this lesson. We're going to be doing all of number 1, all of number 2, number 3, number 4, just letter B, and on page 270, we're going to do number 5, A, B, and C, number 6, A, B, and C. We're going to skip number 7, so don't worry about doing number 7. In the homework section at the bottom of the page, I wanted you to do number 2, just letter A. So go ahead and pause the video, see how many of those you can do on your own. Okay, you should have paused the video, you should have gone through and done some of those things. We're looking at right now at 269, number 1, letter A is what we're doing. So we have our division problem right here. Again, just like we were doing yesterday, it has that dollar sign money, that decimal point. Let's go ahead and write those things first so that we don't get confused later. So above this dollar sign, we just copy it, write it down, and above this decimal point, just write another decimal point directly above it so that it's in the same spot. Now we have 8 going into 5. How many times will 8 go into 5? Right, just 0. It won't go into 5 at all. So we're going to put 0 right there. And since we have 0 up here, we can go ahead and use our shortcut. So we're going to go 8 into 50. How many times will 8 go into 50? Well, we know 8 times 8 is 64. That would be way too big for this. So let's go down. Let's try 5. 8 times 5 is 40. That looks like it would be too small. So we have one that's too big, one that's too small. Let's go up one more. 8 times 5 is 40, so 8 times 6 is 8 more than 40. It's 48. So I think that number will work. So we'll do 8 will go into 50 6 times. So we'll write a 6 right up here. 6 times 8 is 48. Good. 0 minus 8, well, we can't do that, so let's borrow. 4 goes right here, 1 goes there, so now we have 10 minus 8, which we can do, and it's 2, and 4 minus 4 is 0. We compare, 2 is smaller than 8. 2 is smaller than 8, so we're going to go ahead and bring down now, because it's my next step. And now I have 8 will go into 21. How many times? Let's try 2. I thought about using 3 for a second, but 3 times 8 is 24, and that would be too big. So let's try 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract. 1 minus 6, we can't do that, so we need to borrow. 2 is going to get crossed out. 2 is going to become 1. 1 gets put over here. So now I have 11 minus 6, which I can do. What is 11 minus 6? Right, it is just 5. And 1 minus 1 is 0. And 5 is smaller than 8, so it's a good comparison. Bring down this 6 right here, and I have 56. 8 will go into 56 how many times? Well, we know 8 times 6 is 48. I think we can go 1 higher than that. Let's try 1 more than 6, 7. 7 times 8 is, good, 7 times 8 is 56. And it looks like where our remainder is going to be 0. And 0, of course, is smaller than 8. There's nothing else left to bring down, so my answer is $6.27. Our next problem, letter B, 7 will go into $82.53, or we can say $82.53 divided by 7. So let's go ahead and copy down that dollar sign decimal point. Do that first thing. It's best if we do it the first time because then we don't get confused. I know yesterday I kind of had said that we could do it either way and it didn't change how we did it or our answer or anything, but for our intents and purposes, I think it would be best to do it first thing because that's an easy thing to do, and then we can just focus on those numbers. So let's make sure we're doing it like that from here on. So we have 7 will go into 8. Well, I know 7 times 1 is 7, and that's really close to 8, so let's use that. We'll say 7 will go into 8 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. 8 minus 7 is, easily, 1. Bring down the 2. Ooh, before I bring down the 2, we need to do something. 1 is smaller than 7, so that's a good comparison. And now we bring down a 2, and we have 7 will go into, or 12 divided by 7. 7 will go into 12. How many times? Let's try 1 again. 1 times 7 is 7. I have 2 minus 7, but here's the thing. If I were to borrow, 1 would become 0 and 2 would become 12, so I would still have 12 minus 7. So let's not borrow in this case, let's just say 12 minus 7 in this case. So 12 minus 7 is, right, 5. 5 gets carried down right here. 7 will go into 55 how many times? Well, I know from my last problem, 7 times 8 is 56. And that would be too big for this. So 8's going to be too big. If 8's too big, we're going to go one number underneath that just to try it. Let's try 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Let's try it. 5 minus 9, well, we can't do that, so let's borrow. 5's going to become 1, or I'm sorry, 5's going to become 4. This 5 over here is going to become 15, because I put a 1 right there. 15 minus 9, now I can do that, that's 6, and 4 minus 4 is 0. 6 is smaller than 7, so it's a good comparison. Carry down the 3. So now I have 63 down here. 63 and 7. 7 will go into 63 how many times? Well, I know 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is 63. So we'll say that's 9 times. So we'll say 7 will go into 63. 9 times 7 is, we just said 63. And that's going to be my answer down there, and my remainder is 0. So make sure you have this $11.79 as your answer. Now, you might notice, and that's why you want to make sure that you have these answers down correctly, is number 2, we're using our answers that we just got for letter A and letter B in number 1. We're using these answers. We're rounding them to the nearest dollar. So for example, right here I have $11.79, and down in number 2, if you look, they give you a space, it says letter B, and it gives you just a blank. Take this $11.79 and round it to the nearest dollar, and whatever that answer is, it's either going to be $11 or $12, of course. Whatever that answer is, just write in the blank for letter B. Okay? Number 3, they want you to measure those lines, and they want you to tell how much longer that green line is than the blue line. So if I have, for example, I put a green line and a blue line up here. Now, I didn't have any kind of specific measurements. This is just an example problem. They want you to write they want you to write how long this is. So if this was, let's say, 6 1/2 inches, and if this was 4 1/2 inches. This is just an example. This is not how long those lines in your book are. This is just me giving an example so we can see what we're doing. Okay? They don't want you to only measure it. That's not the only thing. They also want you to say how much longer is this line than this line. Now, how much longer or how much more tells me that I need to subtract. So I need to put it as a subtraction problem. So I have 6 1/2 and 4 1/2. I need to do this like a subtraction problem. And they give you a line underneath or at the end of the instructions where it says how much longer is the green line than the blue line, and it gives you a blank. That's where you're going to put this answer. So we have 6 and 1/2 minus 4 and 1/2. 1/2 minus 1/2. Well, I'm just going to subtract those top numbers in my fraction. So 1 minus 1 is 0. My bottom number is going to stay 2. And 6 minus 4 is 2. Now, I have 2 and 0 over 2. If my fraction has 0 as a top number or bottom number, well, just the top number mostly. If 0 is the top number in my fraction, it's just going to make it so that the fraction is not there. So my answer would just be 2, specifically 2 inches. Let's go ahead and take a look at letter B, story problem number 4, letter B. It says, Ethan and his sister Samantha have each saved $17.48. They put their money together and used 1/4 of it to buy a game. How much did they spend on the game? So what we need to do is we need to figure out how much, like the story problem says, how much they spent on the game. So they have $17.48. Now, does it say they both, all together, this is how much their money is? No, one person has this much money and the other person also has this much money. So we have $17.48 from Ethan and $17.48 from Samantha. So we have 2 separate amounts. Let's put it together. We can either add it or multiply it. It'd be better if we multiply it, this case, just a little bit faster. So let's just do it times 2 because there's 2 people. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1, 4 down here. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And my answer is not 3,496. I have this decimal point right here. It has 1, 2 place values. So I'm going to count 1, 2 place values and put my decimal point right there. So they have $34.96 altogether. That's not what my story problem is asking, but I needed to figure that out so that I could figure out how much how much they used of this money. So they have this much money, and my story problem says they used 1/4 of this money to buy a game. So I'm going to write it as this: 1/4 of $34.96. Now we know that this means it's going to be a division problem. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this. First of all, let's put that $sign right here and my decimal point right here. And let's divide 4 into 3. We'll go 0 times. So we're going to go 4 into 34. Well, I think that probably will go 9 times, close to 9. 4 times 9 is 36. That's going to be over 34, so 36 would be too big, which means 9 would be too big. So let's try the number underneath that. Let's try 8. 8 times 4 is 32. We can try that. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. 2 is smaller than 4. Carry down that 9. 4 will go into 29 how many times? Let's try 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. 1 is smaller than 4. Carry down the 6. We have 16. 4 will go into 16 how many times? 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And 16 minus 16 is 0. So my final answer is $8.74. That's how much they have spent on the video game. And if they were asking how much do they have left after buying the video game, we would need to take their original amount, so $34.96, and subtract $8.74. But they're not asking us to do that, but that's just giving you an idea of if they did ask you what you would have to do. On page 270, number 5, letter A, B, and C, I'm not going to do those on the board. I want you to do those on your own. Number 6, again, A, B, and C. I'm not going to do those on the board. I want you to do it on your own. And 270, the homework section at the bottom of the page. Number 2, letter A, I wanted to go ahead and work that on the board very quickly. They want you to reduce to the lowest terms. We have 6 over 15. I know I'm going to divide because that's what reduce means. And I have 6 and 15. What number will go into 6 and 15? I have 6 will go into 6, but will 6 go into 15? No. I know 5 will go into 15, but will 5 go into 6? No. So what number will go into 6 and 15? 2 will work for 6, but not 15. 3 will work for 6, but will 3 work for 15? It will. 3 will go into 15 evenly. 3 will go into 6 evenly. So we'll use 3. So we'll have 6 over 15 divided by 3 over 3. So we'll divide across the top, divide across the bottom. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So my answer is 2 over 5, or 2/5.